Harry Potter, the biggest movie phenomenon of all time.
Expecto Patronum!
Over the last decade, it's mesmerized audiences the world over and defined a movie-going generation.
Let's finish this the way we started.
Together!
Just this month, stars and fans alike descended on London to celebrate 10 years of movie magic.
I can't explain it. I can say I'm so excited, but you just wouldn't understand.
Farewells were said to heroes.
I'm a massive Harry Potter fan.
We've grown up with it. Literally grown up with it.
And the final ever film was released to international acclaim.
Anyone trying to have a big film premiere after this, you know, the bar's been set very high.
Tonight, we get behind the scenes with exclusive interviews from the movie's biggest stars.
I loved playing him, actually.
We all had to have wanding lessons.
You know, they're not perfect. They're a little bit rough around the edges.
I wasn't actually entirely quite sure I was going to kind of come out.
She just laughed at me.
Fantastic. I love them, as you can probably tell.
And find out from celebrity fans why Harry Potter is so loved.
It's utterly fantastic.
I can't cope with Dobby's death.
She's actually not playing a character. That's actually what she's like.
It's interesting, but I'm petrified.
So join us on an epic journey through the most magical movies ever made as we count down the 50 greatest Harry Potter moments. This story began when 3 young actors were brought together to bring a literary sensation to life. Since then, the films have smashed box office records and made millionaires of its stars. Now, there's an awful lot of moments to choose from, so let the countdown commence.
Harry!
All great friendships have to start somewhere, and our first moment is an unforgettable first meeting.
Excuse me, do you mind? Everywhere else is full. Not at all.
The party's about to begin. This is it. This is the meeting of the 3 characters that are going to dominate our lives for the next 10 years.
I'm Ron, by the way. Ron Weasley. I'm Harry Potter.
Myself and Ron are bonding over sweets and confectionery. That was the kind of the basis for Harry and Ron's relationship in the early days. I remember also it was one of Rupert's favourite scenes to film because he just gorged himself.
There's chocolate and peppermint, and there's also spinach, liver and tripe.
So all was sweet between the 2 boy wizards, but all that sugar needed a little bit of spice.
Has anyone seen a toad? A boy named Neville's lost one. No.
When you first meet the 3 principals on the Hogwarts Express in the first film, when the first time they're ever together, if they get it right, you really feel that they are them.
Are you sure that's a real spell? Well, it's not very good, is it?
Hermione comes and kind of stops the party a little bit.
I remember feeling quite nervous when I did that scene.
Oculus Reparo. Holy cricket! You're Harry Potter! I'm Hermione Granger.
I remember I ad-libbed, I think, Holy Cricket, which Chris Columbus thought was hilarious at the time and couldn't understand where I'd got it from, but he seemed to like it, so that was good.
And you are? Ron Weasley. Pleasure.
Initially, Ron doesn't like Hermione at all. She thinks she's kind of snooty and annoying, and yeah, they don't kind of get on straight away. It wasn't love at first sight, definitely.
I've never used the visitor's entrance before. Should be fun.
The thing about the first view of the Ministry of Magic is that you know that there have not been any corners cut. That is as big as you can make it.
Welcome to the first glimpse of the Ministry of Magic, a huge moment in the world of Potter.
I'd spent the whole of the previous day in the Ministry of Magic in my head, and then the next day I walked into the Ministry of Magic, and I was so boring. I kept saying, you don't understand how weird this is. You don't understand how weird this is. I was here yesterday, and now I'm here. I'm really here. You don't understand how weird this is. Yeah, we get it. We understand.
Most film sets that you go on, they built a corner of something. Or even that you're in a big green room, and then suddenly it appears on film, and you go, oh, I don't remember that. They built the Ministry of Magic. They built this extraordinary tunnel, these amazing sculptures.
We went, well, what do underground buildings look like? Well, the best examples are probably the London Underground. And we looked at some of the oldest ones of them, and they had beautiful ceramic tiles with classical decoration.
There's an air of foreboding about the Ministry of Magic always. They just got that right. Those hard surfaces, they did it really well.
When you look at it, it looks like these amazing porcelain tiles all the way down the hallway to the atrium. In fact, they're not. They've just been specially painted. So it's actually all MDF, and which I think is even more remarkable, because even when you stood right next to it, you can't tell that they're not tiles. I was desperately trying to get them to come round to my house to save me a bit of money in the bathroom.
Ron, is that your owl?
In the magical world of Potter, the post is delivered by owl. In this case, Ron receives a particularly angry red letter, known as a howler.
Oh no! Look, everyone. Weasley's got himself a howler.
It's such a funny moment, and Ron's face is brilliant. Great acting.
Well, the boys had been very, very naughty. They'd stolen Daddy's car. So, of course, they were in trouble, and I was absolutely furious, Mrs. Weasley was.
Ronald Weasley! How dare you steal that car? I am absolutely disgusted! Your father's now facing an inquiry at work, and it's entirely your fault!
Julie Walters steals that scene, and she's only there as a voice.
I had to go into a studio and nearly virtually lost my voice at the end of it because I had to scream the whole letter out about 100 times.
If you put another 2 out of line, we'll bring you straight home! Oh, and Ginny, dear, congratulations on making Gryffindor. Your father and I are so proud.
One of the most moving moments, I think probably from the whole series of films, is when Harry looks in the mirror and he sees his parents.
The Mirror of Erised, which is desire spelled backwards, shows whoever looks into it whatever they most want in the world.
The books and the films do have dark themes to them and important themes.
I think when he looks in the mirror and he sees his parents, it sort of reminds you of the huge hole that's been left in his life. It's a constant theme throughout it, that feeling of loss and sort of just him grieving. And when he looks into the mirror, you sort of remember that he never stops grieving.
The most vivid memory I have of visiting Leavesden for the first time, and the most poignant memory of all, was walking past the Mirror of Erised, which was standing in a dark corner. And this is going to sound so incredibly corny, but I did literally turn and look at myself in the Mirror of Erised, and I was standing there, a published author, on the set of the adaptation of my novel by a British crew, being made in Britain, all of which was very important to me. And You know, that was a real shiver down the spine moment.
This is from the penultimate film. A mature Harry and Hermione have been left alone by Ron and are both in need of someone to lean on.
I think Harry's main thought in that scene is trying to cheer her up and do something frivolous and silly.
It's hugely unexpected, absolutely heartwarming, and really well done.
Emma, who's quite competitive, and Dan, who's quite competitive, had this absolutely perfect dance.